Well, let's keep talking about the contenders. We're going to bring back in Rabin, host of The Agenda, and Javier, Manjarres, managing editor of Shark Tank. And Javier, let's start with you and John Kasich. Just a couple of weeks ago, well, we talked about Jeb Bush a lot too, but let's go with what David Brooks was saying there. John Kasich, where do you see him on the scale right now in terms of potential front runners for the GOP nomination coming up in 2016?
I don't see him, of all the potential candidates, I see him maybe at the bottom, close to the bottom. He's popular in his own state, but he's going to have issues with his support for Common Core and immigration reform. I think he's going to have a big issue. Yeah, he's likable. I saw him this past week in Boca Raton at the RGA meeting, and he was a great guy, nice guy, but I don't think he's going to make it. There's, like Brooks mentioned, there's the Jeb Bush of the world and those crazies, whoever they may be, that he's going to have to contend with.
Well, Ari, as a Democrat, you know, John Kasich has united a purple state. Well, maybe not united, but he's won a lot of friends in a purple state, been able to do a lot of things legislatively as the governor of Ohio. How much do you fear a John Kasich presidency?
Look, I think you have to acknowledge that he takes Ohio off the map for Democrats, which creates a dangerous electoral situation. But I don't fear him because I just don't believe the Republicans will be smart enough to nominate him for the very reasons Javier laid out.
And talk a little bit more about that. Why don't you think that the Republicans will nominate him?
Well, I mean,
they've nominated a moderate guy the last two times around, and it's not that necessarily they don't want maybe that to happen, but that's what the electorate chooses.
Right. What I'm saying is the Republican electorate is anti-immigration reform, is anti-Obamacare, is anti-Common Core, and John Kasich has done things on all three that I think would to a general electorate looks moderate, and to a Republican electorate will look too liberal.
All right, well, Javier, how about Jeb Bush? Because a lot of those same things can be said about him.
Yeah, first of all, the Republican electorate is they're pro-legal immigration. They're for immigration reform. They just don't want to float amnesty like a lot of liberals and the president have done. As far as Jeb Bush, look, he's very popular, moderate, but again, his major issue with the base is going to be he is the godfather of Common Core. He is pro illegal immigration, amnesty for illegal immigrants. That's going to be very hard to get passed in South Carolina and in Florida, even though in Florida he's very popular. But look, I think some of these people that they believe, like Ted Cruz is crazy and Marco Rubio, these are part of the wacko bird squadron in the Senate. I think they're going to surprise people. I think they have more to offer than what they've been demonized as being as crazies or wackos by their own party, hence the Republican Party.
Well, let's leave the Republicans aside for a second because we only have about a minute left. I do want to talk about two Democrats. We've got Hillary, who most folks say is the front runner right now, but also to talk about Elizabeth Warren. Ari, Elizabeth Warren doesn't really seem like right now she wants to run for the White House. What do you think the odds of her running for president in 2016 are?
0.0.
0.0.
I think that Elizabeth Warren, first off, supports Hillary Clinton, would not want to be seen as challenging her, likes her place in the Senate, and frankly doesn't like the role of candidate, likes the role of senator. So why would she thrust herself into the biggest role as candidate?
Well, if not Warren, give me one name then with 30 seconds to go. Who?
Right now, well, Jim Webb's announced, whatever. Martin O'Malley, and then you have Bernie Sanders, all three lining up to compete against Hillary. All
right, so the benches, the contenders are starting to take shape. We'll see what happens. 2016, just about 2 years away. Right around the corner, guys. Never too soon to talk about it. Rabin, Javier, Manjarres, guys, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so some interesting candidates. We've talked a lot about the Republicans here, of course, but you heard Rabin there mentioning some of the Democratic contenders we can see emerging here. Bernie Sanders, the independent senator of Virginia. Technically not a Democrat. We'll see what happens. I'm sorry, from Vermont. More ahead here on America's Forum right after this.